Arthur, welcome to HoS. It's
Thank
a
you very
pleasure to
much.
see you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure to have you, and it's been long in the make.
Yes, absolutely.
You also recorded a class recently for HoS on production.
Yes.
And I was looking forward to this chat because there's a lot of topics that I wanted to ask you about. You have a very, very interesting story. You traveled, you moved to different countries, you now live in Berlin. So let me start with places where you have been. You were born in Austria. You lived also in Montreal for studying 3 years. And eventually you moved to Berlin. You
Yes.
worked also, I mean, you lived in Amsterdam for many years.
Yeah, for 9 years.
9 years, yeah, long time.
Yeah.
And then Berlin. So one question is, out of all these places, what do you think inspires you of the environment you're in?
Generally, if I can see a red thread going through these cities, is that they're liberal in nature. Like Amsterdam is a fairly liberal city. Berlin is the most liberal city, I guess, in the
Yeah,
world.
it feels so.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. So, yeah, I feel drawn to these places where being a bit different or a bit of a weirdo isn't a big deal.
Yeah. And do you think, so what impact does that have on your music, on your art?
Started making music about a bit over 9 years ago, like seriously. So it started, well, I touched Ableton for the first time, like I think in 2011 or so. That was in Montreal still. I was just leaving Montreal. But just to say, like, Amsterdam had a big impact on me because there the nightlife is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I started going out a little bit, especially in 2013, end of 2012, beginning 2013, about 24, 25. And I started going to these like raves and I heard the music. And that was really the moment I was like, okay, man, I need to do something with and it dawned on me, like, I don't want to be standing on this side, like where I dance. I think that's cool, but I want to make what they're making and not just play, but make it. Because I had been already DJing. Like I started DJing when I was like 16.
Yeah.
It was like vinyl records, drum and bass. But back then, production still felt too far for some reason. You know,
Yeah.
it was more DJing that got us excited.
Yeah.
You know?
And there was something that I read in a previous interview. I think that's one of your, I think, ex-girlfriend at that time
Yeah.
and one of your close friends prompted you or encouraged you to produce.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I do have to mention that especially my best friend or like one of my best friends, he was like, man, you have to do this. This is your thing.
Right.
Yeah, and he's a like great graphic designer and artistic director now, and he makes visuals actually. Like him and I are planning certain things here, but not too much blah blah. I'll just show it. Yeah.
Still a secret.
Yeah, but anyways, he was like, man, he's a very blunt guy. He's like, just gotta do this.
Yeah.
It's your thing.
So from that time when you were considering making music, producing, so it's 2011, you're in Amsterdam, you feel this kind of,
Yeah, I just moved to Amsterdam in 2011. Yeah.
so you discovered this beautiful scene. Was it techno already at that time?
Yes, I mean, yes. I mean, no. First things were like tech house. It was this like, yeah, it was this parties called what's it called? Familiar Forest. Yeah, Marius always brought me like Marius. He'd go out, and it was with him. Like he's the one who dragged me into this because I was like, they're taking ecstasy and all that. And I was like, "Ugh, that looks so weird for me. Yeah? And it's all crazy. But he had like some of the greatest nights of his life, and I saw it. And then eventually, like ultimately we ended up going out together, but that was like 2 years later. Yeah. But the thing is that it was just gradual. I started to realize, like, I also had my first experiences with, like, having a really great time at these parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
You stay long and you party, like, and then you get deeper. I always got deeper and deeper into the music because that's what ultimately interested me.
Very interesting. And
Yeah.
was there some resistance in your head from being a part of the audience and a DJ to then shifting to production?
But at that time, I was DJing a little bit, like at home and things like that. But I wasn't like really aspiring to like become a DJ. Never.
Yeah.
Like maybe when I was like 16, I thought it was cool. Like listen to NDC and all these drum and bass DJs. But later, I didn't really like it. It was a different time. Like the production side was I knew that in order to express myself fully, you have to make the music.
Yeah.
Because there's already back then there were a lot of DJs, right?
Yeah.
A lot. And yeah, it was always the tracks. Like the DJ would play the track.
Yeah. And then, so you started producing effectively 2011. So you were in Amsterdam. And what was the process of starting to
I
produce?
started produce really in 2013.
Okay.
So I had dabbled a bit, like back then I would still, with dubstep and things like that. I'd open up Ableton once every 6 months.
Yeah.
And for 20 minutes I'd try to do like a kick, a snare and a hi-hat, and I would get bored because it was difficult, and how to build like a synth, and everything was just overwhelming and it sounded like shit. And like, already back then we're dopamine junkies. It's tough. You have to really sit through it. And dubstep, I don't know, it just, like the production of it just didn't click. I loved it. I still love dubstep. Like good old school dubstep is great. But producing, now I could produce it because I have the knowledge. But back then it was really tedious. Even when I shifted over to techno, it's tough.
Yeah.
Like I had no one. I taught myself, with YouTube and trial and error.
Very interesting. And I think also another interview you gave some time ago, you mentioned you wish there was someone that would teach these things.
Yes. I always wished for someone that would teach the things I teach now.
Yeah.
Like someone who show me how to make a good kick and sub.
Yeah.
I mean, now there are more plethora of good techno producers that offer their services, so you can ask them directly, like, show me exactly how you did this.
Yeah, which is it's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. I mean, you can give your formula away. It's no problem. If you make something really good out of it and you understand the process, awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you imitate me in a bad way, well, joke's on you, right? And if he surpasses me, show me.
Yeah.
I'm interested, if you make something even better. I mean, not that it's about competition, but you know what I mean? If there's something really interesting and it's like, holy shit, show me your technique, like what inspired you out of, like, it's only win-win in the end.
Yeah, I like this philosophy because then it's not a zero-sum game where you teach something to someone, they steal it, and then it takes away from you. No. You can just improve out of that.
Exactly,
yeah.
Or you learn something about the person. It's also, I mean, it's not fun if someone really blatantly, I don't know, like if someone steals like something really, I don't know, like a synth line, something that's really yours. That's a bit different. Yeah, then it's like, and if they get successful with it, well, then you have to sue them, I guess.
That's the option.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you have the proof from the recordings of the videos.
Yeah. And for example, like in your journey, was there anybody that helped you? Anybody who was already a successful producer?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
I was in the dark for many years, just toiling away, hating myself and hating everything, and yet still sitting 8 hours a day in the studio,
right,
trying to get that right, because it's like about expressing an idea and doing so with the best means possible. So you have to learn how to mix. At least I didn't want to pay for these services. It's like, might as well learn it myself.
Yeah. And was there a moment where, for example, you started feeling, okay, now I'm ready, I can release stuff, and you felt confident?
Yes and no. It's an interesting question, yeah? Because honestly, in the end, it's even, I mean, now I'm much more confident, yeah? Like a lot more. I play out my own music. I see the reaction it gets when I play my own music. That's great, yeah? But you don't know about that. And you only maybe hear, like, if someone played your track, at least back then for me. I mean, I still get excited when someone plays my track, and the people are having a good time. Yeah. But like, it's different, yeah. So I needed quite some time to become, because ultimately it's about liking your own music. And now I can listen to my own music and be like, fuck yeah.
You like it now?
Yeah. A lot of it.
What changed? I mean, of course, the technical part changed.
Yes, but that's the thing. You need, like, I know I had great ideas. I have a musical ear. Like I sang when I was younger. Like I'd sing. You had to also play some instrument. I mean, I wasn't very disciplined with the piano, but I knew, like I had musical ear. I could sing, you know.
Yeah.
And my singing has gotten worse because you still have to practice that. But I still, like, you know, can harmonize and things like that. I understand that. So, and I knew what I liked. Like I liked sound from. I always loved music, whether it's trip hop, hip hop, ambient music, rock, 70s rock, like Pink Floyd, everything, you know. So I have these influences that I could amalgamate into this very nimble genre called techno.
Yeah.
You know, because the techno groove is amazing. It's so.
There's no rules.
Yeah, but you know, the techno groove, it's like the skeleton, and you can put you make these amazing grooves, and then you add whatever the fuck you want on top, essentially. You know?
Super interesting. And so thinking about your production process right now, how do you draw inspiration? Do you have sources? There maybe are other arts.
Humans inspire me. Humans and like experiencing, like going somewhere, psychedelics.
Yeah.
But they help me a lot, you know, not just like, I mean, creatively, but also as a human being.
Yeah.
Right? And finding myself and who I want to be,
yeah,
truly from the heart. And that is becoming more and more also evident through the music. There's some things I'm working on. I was just mentioning it earlier to you that it's like, it's the most me that I've ever done. And I can't wait to show it in its proper form to the world.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that these things have helped me, and the relationship with my girlfriend, everything, it's like an incredible, exciting time.
Yeah. Do you have a specific process that helps you get this inspiration and then translate them into your production?
You mean how I get inspired?
For example, any practice, anything you do on a weekly basis that helps you?
No, I have not. I mean, obviously spending quality time with my girlfriend, my partner, and having quality relationships with my friends, and also with people I work with, and in general, like the relationship I have with myself is among things that gets me inspired. Like also the need, like now I have a live set to prepare for ADE, and it's a challenge that, I mean, I used to play live. Like actually the first performances I was doing out in the open back in Amsterdam, they had this like crazy cool, like illegal club. It's a long story, yeah, but I used to perform my first live sets there. And for me, that was the ultimate goal. The last time I did it was in Poland in 2021. And it was a bit of a disaster with the computer and the machines and like the whole CPU thing. But now everything's perfect.
Right.
And I'm preparing for this, and this challenge is like, this is what I trained for all these years. And that is, I love that. Like it inspires me to be put under pressure for the right reason. Because
you have an objective, you have a vision, perhaps, of what you want
and
to.
I know I have a high expectation of myself.
Yeah.
I cannot come, like I'm playing at Shelter, Len, the lineup was already done, for a figure night, but he then decided to squeeze me in. And it took some moving around of sets and here 15, and in the end they made it work really well. And he's giving me like a great slot right after him, after peak time.
Wow.
And it's also like during ADE, right? It's like, it's an important thing for me, because also for my future, right?
Yeah.
Because, and not only that, but also I want to come there and blow people away with my music, because that's me, only me. That's not playing DJ set where it's like, hey, it's someone else's track. That's like 1 hour me.
Yeah. Live set is much more personal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for that, I mean, I know like I have a bit of, I was told I have imposter syndrome, even though I was okay. I mean, I know this stuff is good, but it has to be, I mean, I was raised that way as like a perfectionist.
So you were told by parents, people around you, or friends around you?
Friends, close friends told me like, Jurian, a very gifted producer as well, was my student. He told me, it's like, hey, buddy, you have a bit of imposter syndrome. Don't worry, man. It's going to be amazing. It's like, but I have to prepare. And it's like, I mean, I do have to prepare. But I also notice when I make the music and I listen to the patterns that I'm sort of preparing, it's like, okay, this is going to be really good.
Yeah, it feels great.
But I want to be over prepared. That's, you know.
Yeah, I read somewhere that you always fall back to the highest level of preparation you've had when you have to perform or do something that is hard.
Yes.
So you over prepare. Worst case that can happen is that you have to solve things on the fly, but you prepare for it. You know how to navigate
That's it. I want to go there knowing I have did the most I could. I could have done more still, but at least so that I can go and be like, okay, I've prepared well enough for this.
Yeah.
At least that, at the very least.
And the big showcase, the world is there, and the electronic music industry is in the same place.
Correct.
It's a sheltered, big club.
Yeah.
So very good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I appreciate him also doing that because it was already like sort of done, you know. So, and it, you know, it's finally also an opportunity for me to finally play live again.
Yeah, well done.
Because I was supposed to play, but that fell in the water. Actually, there, but now as the universe so decided that it gave me another chance and a really good one at that. So
amazing.
yeah.
Very happy for you.
Thank you.
And talking about your production process and how that feeds into the live, the classic recorded for HoS Sound is one of your tracks, one of the productions, a remix you did for Fabio Florido.
Yes.
And you walk people through your production process, but also how they can record the track using Ableton Live. Mm-hmm. Can you explain a little bit about the process? How
Sure.
you...
Well, it is a bit of an emulation of my process with my machines, mm-hmm. right? I record music in one take, so I prepare patterns and I just jam and click record. And I have my machines running into processing in Ableton, and it's mixed into that. So everything's already kind of prepared. Mm-hmm. Just need to make the patterns and make them sound good. Now, I'm trying to emulate that process inside Ableton. And my explanation was that you build all these blocks and you have a few like variations, you know, and then you just, do the, what's it called? Like you click the scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you click on the scene and then it plays everything. And you have you can use your keyboard as a sort of MIDI keyboard if you like. It's the most basic thing, right? Because some people don't have expensive gear, and you use only Ableton tools, and you can show how much you can do with that. Yeah. Because not everyone has like 10,000 euro studio or 100,000 euros, whatever, yeah, or crazy monitors. Like a pair of headphones. Like I was literally with my headphones, and well, you have to learn the production process. Like I cannot teach someone in a 2-hour masterclass how to listen for nuances in mixing and to recognize when something isn't tuned the right way, or that takes time, unfortunately.
Yeah, takes time, but it's a long journey worth.
Yes, of course. I mean, you can give them a little bit of an idea. Like obviously it takes more in-depth classes to really because it has to be a back and forth, unfortunately. Like someone goes and tries and then comes back and you explain to them what could be better as best as you can, right, in these relationships. But yeah, I mean, as going for the other process, it's a literal emulation. I jam the track with my keyboard and my and the mouse pad. You don't even need to use the mouse. Yeah. So you have automations like buttons that go automatic, or not automations, but commands. Yeah, like you use your keyboard. I press 1 and the reverb opens, or something like that. Yeah, on the master, or I press 2 and the kick drum mutes. Yeah, and I mute the kick drum specifically because I want the pumping effect to keep going. So the sidechain compressors are set to post mix. Yeah, and then the sidechain keeps pumping because the kick drum's only muted, but the signal still goes through, for example. Yeah, things like that. And I do it in a similar manner on the machines.
Yeah, and I think it's also great for traveling or for getting unstuck. I see a lot of producers who feel that they have to buy more gears to do better, which is, I think it's
more fun, yes. Yeah. But you don't, I say learn anything very well, but it has to be one thing. Yeah. So what I decided to teach myself is synthesis.
Yes.
Synthesis is the basics of with mixing together, because you need to mix the music eventually. Yeah. But these two together are like, I make music, you can give me any instrument that is based on these principles. And it was like, okay, like I just need to figure out the interface, but we can make music with it.
Yeah.
Right? And that is the tools that I try to give my students too. It's like, if you understand the raw process, like I have people who are bored to death and they don't really understand why I'm teaching them that. But eventually they come around and it's like, oh wow, actually it's
It works.
really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And among the producers you are close to, perhaps you're supporting them, or people you see that send you music, what do you think are the biggest challenges? What are the things that people get stuck most with?
In the production process,
Production.
originality is a hard thing, even for any producer. Like, it's making some fresh.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, it's tough. That's the toughest thing. Like, you can be technically good, but if your ideas are yawn, you know, or it doesn't have, you know, the thing. I cannot explain it, but something, you know, then, and then, yeah, you want to present it the best way possible. It is like, I always say to my students, better to have an original idea that's mixed bad than to have an unoriginal idea that's mixed to perfection.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, because the mixing part we can work on, right? We can always improve that. Yeah, it takes a bit of time, but we can do it. But original ideas, go figure.
And if you have thought about it, what could be practices, ways for people to find their own originality?
Look outside the box. So don't listen to only techno.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, go and listen to some jazz and something that you really like. Go for a walk out in nature and think about how to improve on your music. That process, like, be alone, yeah, like these types of things where you look in yourself rather than outside, because the answers are always within yourself. I mean, sometimes it's also good, like, go outside, but be with yourself, right? That I think is a good thing, because I think people should ask themselves, what do they really want to fucking say?
Yes.
What is the purpose of your music?
Yeah.
You know, it has no purpose. Nah, everything says something.
Yeah.
You know, every piece of, like, okay, it says nothing really, but then, okay, yeah, fair enough.
What do you want to say with your music?
I want to convey my emotions. And yeah, as best as I can, I guess.
Yeah. You've been producing for 10 years. Has that changed in these 10 years, or it's always
Well, now, I mean, not to sound megalomaniac, but the ultimate goal is mastery.
Yeah.
Like, might as well, right? I mean, I produce, this is what I've chosen to do.
Yeah.
Why not become, I mean, you have masters in everything, whether it's a tennis player, whether it's an architect, why not become a master at this?
Yeah.
You know, and for that, I mean, I'm now again putting the work in the studio. That's where you have to put in the work. Like, you have to make the music. You have to, again, go through the whole process of failing, but you make it.
Yeah. And it takes time.
It takes time.
And so I have two follow-up questions on this. One is, do you ever get stuck?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Recently I had that.
Was it outside or was music related? For example, did you have a depression or something that came in your life?
Yes, there was a part. I don't want to go too deep into this, but touring has been I toured in Colombia and the United States, and it has been weighing after that. I mean, it was great. I had a great time, but after that I was very tired and needed some time to recoup. And there was also I had to move apartments, and it was a pretty intense process because, you know, yeah, we needed to get like everything sort of sorted. And then I had built my studio in the third room, and everything was set up. And my friend Benny, he set up the Sonarworks on speakers where I know how they're supposed to sound. And that was not a good idea. I mean, I have it turned off now all the time. I may have to recalibrate it or something, but it doesn't sound good. And I noticed it also when I was producing music, because my music just didn't sound the same. Didn't have the same energy, punch, whatever. Yeah? And that made me worry. So, and I also couldn't find, like, I felt not inspired by what I was making, by how it sounded, and everything was there. It was perfect. All my instruments dusted and new things even added. Great. Tough. Yeah, it took me about a month or so, 3 weeks.
To readapt to the new listening environment.
Oh, now I have made, it was a gradual, but you have to get yourself into it again.
Yeah.
Like I also had to get used to the room, how it sounded. I turned it off, moved the speakers slightly again a bit, like found the right position, tested some things, right? Because it's about like you're referencing all the time with everything,
Yes.
even when you reference in the car or now it's perfect again. Yeah, I'm like in my groove. I'm writing a lot of music, but it needed some time.
Yeah, for you to readapt to the new.
Again, and I made some other music recently, like I was telling you earlier, and that like gave me a great boost of like inspiration itself. In and of itself, making music can also be inspiring in and of itself, right? And yeah, that was a great, like making different music, not just techno, was a great thing.
Source of inspiration as
Yes,
well.
exactly, because I love all sorts of types of music, not just techno.
And when you release music out, let's say you have a record that is coming out on a label, how much do you care? Do you listen to the feedback that comes from outside?
It's tough, like yes and no.
Yeah.
And people will say lots of things, and there will be people praising you, there will be people shitting on you. It's important to listen to neither.
Yeah.
Even though, like people will have to, the only one that really has to like it is you.
Yeah.
And truly, like sometimes people like stuff from me that I'm like, they love it. Sometimes people don't really like what I really like.
I find
okay.
that always fascinating.
Yes, there's like opinions are like grains of sand at the sea. Lots of them.
It sounds like you try to bypass this feedback because it's not useful, both like the kind of good and
I mean, it's nice to see when the music gets played.
yeah.
That is, I think, important. If I wouldn't start noticing that music doesn't get played, it's like something's not right. Either my music's shit, or something doesn't click, or something is not, or people don't like me. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, for now the music is getting played, and I see it like recently in Amsterdam. Like I was playing the closing at this party, Rather Lost. Shouts to Rather Lost and Njord, great party. Yeah, and they gave me that closing slot inside. It was really great. Yeah, and Zibel, Jaco, also awesome. Shouts to her. Yeah, she played before me Courtyard. She was closing it. She played 2 tracks of mine, one after the other.
Cool.
And I was talking to this friend I hadn't seen in ages, like 4 or 5 years, man. Oh, and I heard my track. It was awesome. Yeah. Like people were going, like they're having fun. And it's an older track, so on a figure release, on the second, And man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
That's like, that's the track, man. And people are having fun.
Yeah.
And it sounded also really good. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't really play this track because I don't play much my own released music. I play my unreleased music. Yeah. So it's when I hear a track of mine play that's released, I'm like, oh, I haven't really heard that track being played out.
That's so interesting. Why do you think is that? Is because you moved on from what you made maybe?
No, because now everyone can play it.
Yeah.
So
for you, it lost a bit of that.
No, not at all. It's everyone's now. So why would I have to play something that you can play? And I'll play you the hottest shit on my USB stick.
That nobody else.
Yes,
It's only you.
exactly. Yeah, that's the most awesome, right? Like that. I mean, I want that. If I go listen to, I don't know, some sick ass producer like Luke Slater, I want to hear his top, like the newest.
Yeah.
The heat, like the fresh stuff.
The stuff that nobody has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we go to listen to that, to be graced by the master that like shows us what he's working on. Gives us and nowadays it's so simple. Back in the day you had to press. That's what they did, man. That's from dubstep culture. They played their dub plates. The stuff that is not released. And if it's good enough, it stands. Like that's what I do. I play out records and I gauge the reactions. If the tracks are good, well, it's worth releasing.
Yeah.
People will buy the record. You don't want to sell records that no one fucking buys, you know?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Huh?
It's super interesting. Do you ever see, for example, let's say you have unreleased tracks, you're playing them in a gig, you see reaction of people is great, people are dancing. Do you ever experience there's a split between reaction of people on dance floor and perhaps labels that accept the tracks to release them? So gatekeepers, in a way, let's call them gatekeepers.
No, I usually know when a track is really good, then they will want to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense also. I don't know. So far, I've experienced it like that. Tracks where I knew. I mean, there were certain tracks where, like, I make lots of these also similar sounding tracks with my bleeps and bloops, and there's X amount of variations of that, yeah, in all shapes and forms, yeah. But like on some they like that one particular sequence, yeah, and then I get a little bit like a bit. I like others more. Yeah, I don't know. It's a changing feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of like your career as a producer, so one thing that I found fascinating is that you studied architecture, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, true, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
What other works have you done to support yourself? I know, of course, teaching music was always been part of your supporting your music career. Have you done other works, other jobs?
Not really. I mean, I worked a little bit like in a restaurant, like in Montreal. I remember to have some extra cash because life's still so expensive, But yeah, I wasn't really like I focused solely on music from 2013, like 2014. I said 2014 it started till about 28. So for 4 years. My ex-girlfriend, she supported me financially. Yeah, like I'm still grateful for that. And she basically made it possible for me to focus on music full time. But that's exactly what I did.
Wow.
I was not leaving the house.
Yeah.
And I stayed day in and day out, toiling away and working hard on it was a tough process because I didn't really have a mentor. I mean, I only had the programs. I had a modular synth, yeah, and some gear and YouTube.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. I mean, it's still a lot, but there's no real feedback. The feedback started coming slowly. I remember with Zach, with Devious One. I gave him my stick in 2014. I remember at Trau, this old club in Amsterdam, legendary club. He did all-nighter there. It was great. He wrote me back 2 months later and he was like, I hear something, but work. That's what I did. And eventually, I think it was in 2016, he started downloading so I started getting some feedback. And it was not the feedback from, let's say, anyone. So I immediately aimed very high in wanting feedback on my music. So yeah, that was the back and forth, and that's how it slowly started. Then around 2018, I had this release with Marcel Fengler, a track that I still don't know how. I don't really. I made that in Ableton in my underwear, But he liked it. I think it's a bit of a weird track. I mean, it has some emotion. It's a clumsy track, but I also now, if I would listen to this, I can hear that you have a lot to say. Yeah, but you just have to do it in a better way. Anyways, that track was released, and he invited me to play, and I did play live at Krelle Forelle in this club in Vienna. So I went from Amsterdam to Vienna.
Back to
yeah, essentially, yeah. And I played there, and he gave me a good slot. I played after the opener. I had 1 hour from, I don't know, what was it, 2 to 3 or something like that, and it was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember the sound system and the energy from the music. Could not believe that was my music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a great experience. But yeah, it was a gradual process, a very slow, gradual process to arrive here. When I played at Berghain or at Fuse or whatever. And it's like, I can't believe I'm here.
It's happening.
Yeah, after so long.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I can't, like, at prime time, everyone here, woo, it's like, and half of them don't even know who I am, because I'm not some celebrity, but I've been put here and I play my music, and then people start looking.
Yeah.
So, like, I wanted it for music. Music is the most important for me. The persona cult and everything is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it a bit dangerous.
Super interesting. And it's a journey of 10 years. You
Yes,
started 10 years ago.
10 years, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Was there any moment, maybe 2018 could be one massive thing there, where you started really seeing, I mean, now you mentioned
No,
Berghain.
actually not. It was the only moment, it was also there, a very gradual process. I had the gig with him and then nothing. Zero. I think I played a year and a half later, so the first time again at some festival where friends of mine invited me, because I was also part of this like collective, not collective, there's this like, it's a, for good deeds, it's called the Love Foundation. It's a foundation, and they give money for water projects and things like that, and they organize this, and I was the only techno guy there because they like this, like Philip, my friend, he likes the down tempo, that music they play at Kata Blau, But he likes my shit. He also came to support me in Amsterdam. He really, he's awesome, But anyways, long story short, he also came to Berghain. Oh my God, it was a funny story.
Full circle.
Yes, he also full circle. It was incredible because he never got in. They always refused him at the door, and they still refused him at the door when I was supposed to play because too many people. It was like, what do you mean guest list here? You bring 2 other friends, and I had to go downstairs. Ronnie, the night manager, or the guy who was taking care of me, such a nice guy, really the most awesome guy. I just explained it to him, please, my friends, they came.
Yes, to be here.
He came with me and he said, like, let them in. And then he got in. It was 10 minutes before I was supposed to start playing. But anyways.
So good you did it, actually. You went there.
Love Foundation, they invited me to play. That was a little, and it was very tough for me. And seeing all this like business techno back then, and Amelie Lenz and all, and nothing against them, but it was very disheartening because it's like, how am I ever going to be able to do this if you're not something, I don't know, sellable? Because I wanted to do it for music, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed to me that music had gotten much less important, rather your image, and at least from a certain type of perspective, but. Yeah, it is not that bad.
It probably has in the last couple of years. But
it's a long conversation. Yeah, of course, our attention spans go down, and now you need flashy things because music is 6 minutes long. Like a track is like 6 minutes long. How do you want if someone has like 30-second clips that I don't even watch the 30-second clips?
Yeah.
So
plus, it's a different market, I think. Compared to 10 years ago, techno, at least, is a much more expanded market that touches many more different people, and attention span
certain types of techno. Yes, we're talking about hard techno stuff
which is trending now. So fair enough, it's become big and big.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you can only hope that this has a trickling down effect, so that people who eventually get tired of it because for whatever reason, they're like maybe want to still listen to that techno, but something a bit more sophisticated, for the lack of a better word.
I think, it's high chance this will happen eventually because it's cyclical.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. I'm very optimistic, to be honest, even though some people around me, they seem very pessimistic, and it seems a little pessimistic. But I think that true good art will always prevail.
Yeah,
and you have to just put the effort into it. Even if nobody listens for a while, it's like they'll come around it. Unless they are too stupid, and then there's a problem of society.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the substance eventually comes on top. I think another person, I believe it was Crystal Clear that we interviewed at Almost Sound 2 years ago now, and he said something to me that resonates, which is the cream will always come at the top, will always resurface.
Yes, that's true.
Beautiful way.
Very well said. Yes. Well, you have to. I mean. Good art has always been done. You just have to, I don't know. I believe in even in film, you still have like good movie soundtracks and good in everything. I mean, it also is becoming a bit more a joke in every part because of social media, right? Social media needs algorithms, needs things that are flashy, and this is where it's promoted on. So it is a bit of a slippery slope. Yeah, it can be a fantastic tool and also a very dangerous one due to that algorithm.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, but I don't know. I still think that good art and those that will search for it will find it those that keep making it.
For sure. And if you found the way to promote your music effectively, if you feel you found it, what could be a suggestion for someone who doesn't want to, in a way, use social media too much, but they want to reach their audience?
You do need some form of dissemination. Yeah. So if you don't use social media, you're going to have to knock on people's doors, for the lack of a better description here. Yeah, because social media is I also use social media. Yeah, but I prefer to use it less to cultivate my persona, but rather to share an information about music. But it also works. Like, people want to see your face and people want to see how you look, because it is that which makes people look by nature, right? People are more interested. If they see a poster with some names, this is dead uninteresting. They see a picture with you doing something funny or it's much more entertaining. Also because it's more relatable, right?
Yeah, more human.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's like you want to do that in a classy way. I mean, there are some people who are very good at it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I applaud them. I'm struggling a little bit more because I have a bit of a mental blockade. But
in doing that, in applying.
Yeah, it's like, how do I sell myself the best way? And then it's like, okay, you have to then, like, how do I? It is like you have these channels of, using the platform to promote yourself, essentially, right?
Yeah.
How do I do this in the best way possible? Like, how do I reach people that are like genuine? Like, that's what you want, right?
Yes. Yeah.
To have genuine interest.
Yeah.
Because.
Did you find anything that works for yourself?
You mean on social? I don't know. Like,
Social or not?
I have the one thing that has worked is my work as a teacher also, but through the sort of reputation it has caused. Yeah, because I teach also others, and like I'm like I was telling you earlier, there's this funny, like, not meme, but you have like the masters, the kung fu masters, like they become teachers because they become the ultimate masters, essentially. Yeah. And it said, like, if you want to master something, teach it. So if I teach a lot of people, I learn a lot through that process. I create also value, especially if I have producers that end up releasing really good music and making awesome, if they went through, like, have like Julian is a great example. Yeah, Janssen. He took 60 hours worth or something. He toiled away for a year, has been making music, like, I don't know, 2.5 years now. And he makes music that sounds so incredibly good.
Wow.
Yeah? And it's like power to him, but it's also, I feel very proud. And he's not the only one. I have a few examples. Yeah. So that is an amazing process.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that helps. Like, I can use that, and people, I think, know that also a bit in the community.
Yeah.
Because, like, teaching is great. It also helps me. Like, if I have a month where I have like 2 gigs or 1 gigs, which is perfectly fine, I have money from teaching. So I don't have to be like, oh God.
Yeah. So for you, seems to be working because it's very in line with who you are.
Yes.
Helps you connect with people who are very relevant and they are your audience in a way that you probably like and share some passion for similar music.
Of course. Yeah.
And supports you financially because it's another stream of income.
Plus it is, yes, and plus it is very pleasant to do. Like, it's very flexible work. Like, I can do it whether I'm home, like back from touring, or I can also do it when I'm on tour during the week. I'm like, I have time.
On Zoom,
Yeah, of course, let's do an hour. It's fun. This can even take me off of my thoughts and be like, oh, how beautiful the interaction with someone and stuff. And I get paid to talk about how to build kick drums. Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, sometimes it can be tough. Like, for example, I have students that have more difficult, or they don't practice enough. Then it's a bit more tedious process. But that's luxury problems.
Yeah, for sure.
I still get paid for it. Good money.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you found this way to do it.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, it's also, again, like, it's a win-win for everyone. It's important to have, teaching the art of things. I loved my teachers. The good teachers, they taught me about life also. So I think it's a very, and I learn through the process of teaching. I do examples where I'm like, oh fuck, I wouldn't have done that without it.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely like also explaining something that is complex. Bam, that's how you master it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Or making it simple to someone. Like, yeah, I have students that they don't have any knowledge about it. How can I dumb this down? Not dumb this down, but simplify it so that they understand, like they can make the abstract connection, because it's very abstract. Music is abstract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the ins and outs of it, like
Yeah.
oscillators.
Yeah. You do a lot of tools, especially like
Yeah.
Ableton,
Yeah.
very complex program.
At first,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna take a slight step back just to ask you a question about Berghain. Actually, I have two. One is, how was the experience of playing there? Technically, describe. I mean, what did you feel emotionally and also as a professional?
It's a very like sensitive topic because it was the best experience I've ever had. I was dead tired. I had played the night before. It was a great idea in Utrecht, and I essentially had no sleep. I was with Anil, with Amotic, and we flew back together. We were like sleeping around in the lounge. He took me with him in the KLM lounge. I was so pumped up in the morning when I arrived, like at 7, that I could not sleep. And I have to play at 12. Like, what am I going to sleep now? But I was really tired. But what can I say? It was very interesting. It was tough, like, because they opened Garden at the same time I started playing. 24 degrees outside, first time. Panorama bar closed, so people were either going to go on the dance floor with 24 degrees outside in the dark. Some dude they don't know. It's like, we've heard something about him, but some people came. The guy before me played 145 BPM trance, and I decided to take it down to 137 something, deep techno. With deep, it's pretty fast still, that took some time to get people to trust me.
Right.
So about an hour in, it's when I got comfortable with sort of reshuffling the mood in the room, so to speak, because I also needed to get a real feel for like the sounds. And I had done sound check the day before, but that was like 30 minutes, and with no people.
It's different.
It's different, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and I needed to sort of accustom. But once, I think after an hour, I started to go into more like upbeat stuff and a bit more like, I started to, and that's when things started to really roll. The room started to fill up, and people were like, "Hey, this is actually good shit." And come our 2.5 or 3, it was absolute pandemonium.
You're flying.
No, but that room was flying because like it's less about me, it's more about like that room was on fire, really. And that was really amazing because then I started like playing slowly my own tracks, and this is when it's like, I will never forget that. You work for 10 years and like I'm here playing my own music, the room is erupting. And I play unreleased music of mine, and then I started playing a lot of my tracks. Like I think the last hour and a half, it was basically my own music with a few other tracks mixed in between. And that, it was the best. And then at the end, it was so overwhelming. They read the bio on my resident advisor and like took the part because it's the story. Yeah, as a kid. There's a video I saw where my dad had this Panasonic sound system, like with the Technics, with the the one that we all use, and with all the fucking cassette player, everything, and the big speakers on the side. And I remember seeing the video of myself. I was like 2 years old, and I go on the speaker and just lay on it on the big speaker, and the music was blaring out of it, and I just added that in the bio, and then they used that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That was my other question. So there was the wristband was a part of your life.
Yeah, man. And I saw that when I was in Los Angeles. We had taken mushrooms in the desert, and we came home, and I read this, and I was like, I was with Stefan, a really nice guy, Stefan Desario from Los Angeles. Shouts to him. And I was like, bro, they wrote part of the bio, like
Holy shit!
You
You
know,
didn't know.
the whole
Yeah.
3/4 of the whole text was a bio, like was a thing about me, you know, and I didn't expect that, you know, I thought they weren't going to write anything. So it was I don't know, a nice homage, like to the whole, like to me waiting essentially for, I always dreamt of, like I came in there and that was one of the reasons I started to produce. I went to see Devious One do the closing in 2013 with Clockworks versus Motivolver. I had my last 10 euros. I went to Hardwax and bought Ben Clock Sub-Zero. I had no money. I didn't even have a record player.
Wow.
Yeah, and I bought this, and yeah, and this was like a tough time because I had a big fight with my parents, and that was it. Like I had experienced that whole thing once properly because I had been in the summer once, but I didn't stay for that long at Berkheim. And then we went for that, only for that, and we got in and we did it. And it was fucking insane. I stayed for 20 hours or so there. I had never done this prior in my life. I mean, I still wouldn't do it, but it was just like, you do it, you know? I'm 25. You do it now, you know? If you do it now, like, you're not gonna do it when you're, I don't know, 50, yeah? But yeah, I did it, and it was fucking awesome. And Devious One was playing. It was empty. Like when he started playing at 12 at night, he did it like Ben Clock was playing. It was a big night. Etap Kyle. He was playing that record back then from Etap Kyle that got him like really famous. The one on Clockworks, the Aurora. What a beautiful record, yeah. And it was such a fantastic. And then Ben Clock was dancing with Nina Kravitz in the crowd. I remember when they were still together, and it was like, whoa, you know, everything crazy. Yeah? And we stayed. It was impossible, like how long we stayed. And at 3 or so a.m., there were like maybe 50, 60 people running around the club. And I'm not going to go into details, yeah. But we were just sitting in that corner, you know, when you enter the toilets on the main dance floor, there's this like thing you can sit on just before you
on the left. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like next to the railing, right?
Yeah.
And we were watching that from there, like destroyed, tired. And it's like, shall we go home now? Yeah, it's like 4 a.m. It was epic.
Wow.
So yeah, these were the moments. And Function, Sandwell District, this type of music, and the cinematic nature, and Shed, and like all of this was very, and Planetary Assault Systems, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was God. Like when I heard that live at Deckmantel, I was like, I cannot believe that this is possible.
Yeah.
And then we heard it the next year at this festival in Amsterdam. I forgot the name, yeah, but they had 40 subwoofers, functional one subwoofers lined up. And then he came, yeah. And I'm not gonna go into details again, but it was cathartic. We were like, this Jesus take us now, or whatever, like ascending. Yeah, it was so incredible. And the level of skill, and this is when I understood that is the amount of skill you need to have, because goes beyond. No one can take that from you.
And the originality, I think that's another thing that you mentioned before, that I think for Luke Slater applies a lot, that his music sounds Luke Slater.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And again,
Planetary Assault, it's just wow.
Yeah, he did so much of it that he has, like, you have to just toil away in the studio and make tons of it. Yeah, and it's just so good. It's such a master, and for me, that's so inspiring. Someone to be a master. Like, I might as well, a producer or like a performer in that genre. You play live or whatever. Be a master.
Yeah, very interesting. And you mentioned a bit of cinematic, and I read in your past interviews and what you wrote online as well, is that you like a lot of sci-fi movies.
A lot, yeah. I mean, anything science related, to be honest.
If you were to score anything sci-fi, what would that be?
What do you mean, like existing movie or?
Existing movie, for example, yeah.
I mean, we were watching with Aya, my girlfriend, Interstellar the other day. It's an epic movie, man. Yeah, like the sound and everything. It's less electronic or whatever. Yeah, it's so epic. And then I love like Blade Runner and things like that. But I don't know, it would be a new movie I'd like to score. Like I think that's also a dream of mine, is like to be able to work or score like a big movie. Like really a movie that's seen by many people, where you get to fucking score that like Hans Zimmer is such a boss, you know.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, seriously, this guy like he hears his music in cinemas with like so many people go and see it in the biggest cinemas with such amazing sound. I mean, that's got to be epic. He even said it in an interview himself. You know,
it's crazy.
He gets to hear the music on big speakers.
Big speakers also with the visual components next to it and the story of the movie.
It's sick.
Wow.
It's so sick.
So sick,
I think if that's still something that will be worked on. I don't want to say too much either.
Yeah.
Rather make.
You can give it away. Yeah. Very nice. And we've chatted very briefly about that. Like, you see this as a potential avenue of your artistic output.
At very late, you don't get to see much of the place and things like that. And even if you have a great night, it's still draining.
Yeah.
So, but it's part of the thing. Like, you don't really earn money as a producer, which is sad. Like, now there's A Slice from Zach. Shouts to Zach for that. A Slice, but that's like, basically maybe 200, 150 euros every 3 months. It's 50 euros. It's not something you can really live off. Now, if you get paid 800 euros, 900 euros for a show, you will do a few, 3, 4 of those, and you already have an income.
Yeah.
So,
a more sustainable lifestyle or pressure on your time than just touring and getting the same income from doing 3 gigs per week in countries.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's say if you can, like, if it needs to be just a right balance. I mean, obviously, if someone's very in demand, it's also like you want to be able to fulfill that demand. You may ask for more, obviously, if they ask you aggressively. But then it also becomes like this thing you're like running in.
Yeah. The hamster wheel.
A hamster wheel, exactly. And it's not bad. Maybe you can save a little bit of money, but is it really sustainable? Is the question. You always have to maintain that momentum in order to also, because like when you grow big enough, then you are famous, and that's a bit of an easier story. But you still need that. I don't know. And I want to be able to make music, and also spend time with my girlfriend, or like also not have to do anything or teach. And if you tour so much all the time, then it's a bit more difficult. You're very tired from the touring always.
Yeah, no, exactly. And in terms of as a music scene or music industry, if you want, what could be things that the different people that work in the music industry can do to make it more sustainable for everybody?
I think, I don't know. First of all, it's, I think, quite important to also support local talent. Like, for example, in Colombia has a bit of an issue. Yes, they like to bring in, they are not interested in their locals,
Pity because,
they love bringing in people from abroad because it's cool. Because there's a bit of this, like, I don't know, culture of like, no matter if it's a good DJ or not, as long as from abroad, everyone must take a picture. I mean, I'm very grateful to play there, but I'm also always surprised that so few like locals, or that no one comes to go see them. There was one local I saw called Seeker in Colombia, and he was insanely good. And he played live at this festival. I played at Zero Gravity Festival. It was great. They gave me the main stage. It was insane. People all came. Like the guy who played before me, he didn't do a good job in my opinion, but he he basically played for no one. There were like 20 people on that main huge stage. Everyone was on the other stage for that Seeker guy. I mean, he was also very good. I would have also been there. I was there. But I had to take over the big stage. But anyways, it was a great experience to see like a bit the dynamics. Because we've also spoken to the promoters there. But that's one thing, so that people have to fly around less. And we can be a bit more local, because like it's one thing to fly over halfway the globe or to do it here in Europe or around the corner.
take a train, or you can take a train, for example.
Or a train, exactly. Yeah, this is, and to like, I don't know, yeah, it's tough, like, because if you want to live off of that, it's still a capitalist venture.
Yeah.
You have to be able to make money from parties, otherwise it's burning money.
Yeah, exactly. And going toward the wrap up of the interview, a couple of final questions. One is, anything you're looking forward to? It can be releases on labels. I know you're close to Figure, Amotique.
I am looking forward to the live performance.
Yes.
Very much. And I have also
Very
another
soon.
really cool thing. With Marius, with my friend who does the visuals, we're doing a experimental performance.
Okay.
You may want to come.
I would love to.
On the 11th of November in Potsdamer Straße. We used to live there, actually.
Okay.
Well, not at the place where the exhibition is, but it's like right across that place where we used to live, him and I together. Yeah, it was a crazy apartment. Yeah, and we're gonna do live experiment. He does like visuals. It's gonna be sick. I really look forward to that.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
We'd love to come.
So these two things I look forward to. There's other things I look forward to, but I'm not sure I should say them right now. But yeah, December is going to be an exciting month. Yeah, and also November actually, but specifically December, and next year as well. And generally just starting to gear up with my live.
Very cool.
Because the live performance and the projects that I want to sort of, come to like bring to like the stage and to possibly even bigger stages, I think will just, that's something I'm very excited for.
Very cool. And congratulations on the live again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Shelter.
Yeah.
I should be able to make it actually in a day. I would love
There's going to be a really nice group of people there. Right? There's going to be quite a few people. Yeah, awesome.
We are ready.
My hands are getting
I'm getting also
I think I'm more excited about people being around than performing in and of itself. Like, because then your friends and everyone's watching.
It's cool.
It's awesome, but it's also like, because it's really live. Like you have like 5 machines that are connected, and like anything could go wrong. So that's the only thing. Like it's different than with DJing. Like they have literally so many elements that something could not go right, and then you have to stop, and that's the only thing that stresses you, and then everyone's watching you, and like, Jesus.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's gonna go well.
Yeah. I'm confident. I don't want to jinx it, but.
And one thing, what drives you in life?
That's a great love. Yeah, I don't know. What drives me in my life? Yeah, I think becoming a better person. I know that's it. Actually, just improving myself, my life, my relationships with everyone, including myself. Just improvement drives my life. Just like, and sometimes even you take a few steps back, it's okay. Like I said, like I was touring, I was working out and doing all this stuff. And then like I was touring, I was tired of doing them. I was starting eating like shit, and not working out, and gained a little bit of weight, and it makes you a bit unhappy about yourself, So these things, like you don't have to beat yourself up for it, but you then start like, something's not right.
Yeah, you need to review.
Exactly, you need to reassess and and not kill yourself for it. Just like start over again. It's fine. It's like you deleted some patterns you worked on by mistake, and you just have to make some new ones. And they will turn out better.
Go back to the.
Yeah, but they will turn out better. So you know what I mean. So I'm okay with that. So like right now, it's like this period of readjustment. Because we also have the new apartment and we're getting settled, and we have it's great, everything, but I finally have my studio again. I can start making music. Didn't have that,
Yeah, it's a big thing when you feel good in your apartment and
exactly. Yeah. So I'm readjusting to this and like finding a balance between like touring, teaching, and doing all that stuff.
Very cool. We have a final question that we ask everybody, which is, what question should we ask the next guest? Without knowing who they're going to be.
How much do you earn on your DJ gigs? No, I don't know. That's a great question. What should we ask the next person? Are you happy with the choice of what you did in your life? Of like, because asking people if they're happy is a good one.
Yeah.
We ask so many things about people's jobs and, where they live, so we can gauge how important they are. But we rarely ask someone, are you happy?
Yeah. There is a question for you, obviously, as well, which is, in spite of what, you continue doing what you do?
In spite of what?
Yeah. Big challenges that you have to face?
Yeah, good question. Excellent question. I sometimes have a hard time dealing with the whole loss of, or it's at least how it feels like, that social media robs people. Like, we need education. Also in clubs, you know, like to teach people club etiquette. Like it feels like I'm not sure, I don't want to point fingers, but the generations under us, they don't want to hear anything. I mean, you can always argue about any generation, a younger one, but it's important to pass that torch on, and to, like, you know, also like in clubs where you have the overdoses with the G and stuff, like,
Yeah.
people have to know about that stuff, like, so that it's a nicer environment for everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And you need some responsibility, you need to learn a bit. And because everything is only about glam and glitz and being cool and social media and whatever, it is not about substance anymore. And these things are part of substance, because when everyone has etiquette and knows how to behave, and also, then everyone has fun.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's not
sustainable.
exactly, it's sustainable. Yeah. And you know, maybe we don't need it to have so extreme, but a bit more regulated, but in a nice way, not in a policing way or whatever, just, or in a condescending way or patronizing way. Like, you don't need to go and take someone by the ear and be like, this is how you do it. No, but rather be like, hey man, look, we're gonna have all a good time. If, you know,
Yeah.
some of you don't pay attention and, you know, go too crazy or no, then everyone's having a bad time. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think Berlin is a good place for that, because people are quite pay attention to this. Of course, it's not perfect, but there's a lot that can be.
Yeah, I mean, younger
improved.
generations have had the gap, you know, the going out gap. So what they were taught was her and streaming, and everyone's important.
Yeah, you mean copy generations who started going out after COVID?
Yes, I mean, even like, you know, her or whatever, these things. Boiler Room was also part of that, but they taught that everyone has their time to shine, which is true. But it's not like, you know, in nights you have progressions.
Yeah.
You know, and things are also a bit more monotonous now. You know, there used to be more shades of things during nights. Now it's like there's not nights where you'd go and you'd hear from beginning to end the same type of techno, the same BPM. It's a bit sad.
Yeah.
You know, and makes everything more uniform.
Yeah. Hopefully, we are going toward a good direction in terms of
I think it's
variety
cyclical.
as well.
You said it.
Yeah.
It's just
Cyclical. Yeah.
cyclical.
Arthur, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for being with
Same,
us.
man. Awesome. Awesome questions. Really, really.
Thank you. Also, credit to Mo for sharing some of the questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.